Good day. It's been, I don't know, maybe a month or more since I have done a Hangout on Air. Um, I love doing Hangouts on Air. I've produced over 300 of them, but I've been getting into some other things and doing what I need to do and what I want to do. And we're going to get back into it now because today, we're going to have a discussion with one of the finest online marketers that I have met in the last couple years. We'll talk about online marketing, what has worked for both Ben Fisher and myself in 2015, based upon what has worked for us. What do we plan to do in 2016? Because the thought process that we're going through theoretically is the same process that you're going through. You've got to do those things that work for you, produce results for you. And then, Ben, one of the things I also want to talk about today is the difference, and you probably have a much better handle on it than I do, just because of steady demand and what it is that you do, about the offline business versus the online business. We've seen an integration of the two. I mean, if you're online, you're online, but if you're offline, you have to be online, because if you're not, you're just going to fall out of it. You agree with that statement?
Yeah, I do. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So let me introduce my friend Ben Fisher, and Ben actually was part of chapter 10 of my video book. Uh, and if you remember, I'm sure you remember, you did a group discussion with our friend Ronnie Bincer, our friend Christine DeGraff, our friend Jason Weiser.
And we went wildly off topic.
And it didn't matter. It did not matter because we were small business folks talking about what it is, what we do, what we think folks ought to be doing in their small businesses. And you know what, Ben? I'm going to probably make this discussion today the final chapter in my 2005. Well, no, it is.
It is the final chapter.
It is the final. We're at the end of 2015. You know what? You are the final chapter, Ben. How cool is that?
I'll say one thing about that really quickly. The interesting thing is with doing chapter 10, there's a lesson for business in chapter 10 that's going to hit.
There better be a lesson in 25 chapters, but what's the lesson in chapter 10?
And that is that, right? So we started off with a singular topic, and we probably ate into it for maybe about 10, 15 minutes.
You are correct.
And
who took us off track?
I have no idea.
Yes, anyway. You do. Yes, you do, because you're very friendly and you work with Christine DeGraff. She took us off track, and that's okay. That does not matter.
It does not matter. But the point I wanted to make is that you had to be very agile. We had to adapt, and at the same time, we were still imparting good content and good information. Even though we were like, hey, we started talking about this, and we ended up with this huge discussion that actually we could have probably gone on for a couple hours about.
A couple of days or a couple of weeks, probably.
Yeah, we'd probably still be sitting here talking about it. Actually, come to think about it, if you put that group together again.
Oh yeah, that was actually. I think it was one of the largest groups I did. But and I'm looking at that chapter right now. The individuals in that group, actually. Is Christine still involved with you today in Steady Demand?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And I know Ronnie is doing some different things today. Jason, I don't know what Jason, because I don't see that much of Jason posting in G+.
True.
He might be in Russia right now, as far as he might be in the Ukraine right now.
I haven't heard personally from Jason in a little while, but I know he's really busy. I know he's very successful. Of course, he's working with Warfare plugins. He's got the Wiser site. doing a lot of social media work as well. So, and he's done kind of the same thing that we've done with Steady Demand. He's put together a freaking triple A class team. There are, from what I understand, there are no B players on his team whatsoever. And, and he's rocking it. He's killing it.
And that's great, because I've known Jason for a couple years, and it's fun. It is fun to watch people, grow and develop. I kind of stay static because I don't want to grow. I just want to do what I want to do.
It's okay, David. We need the anchor, dude. We need the anchor. We need the anchor.
Well, you know what? I'm a facilitator. I will put my facilitating talents up against anybody's. And that's what I do, and that's what I enjoy doing. And so I don't need to build this big entity. That's never been what I wanted to do in my small business career. I wanted to do what I wanted to do, when I wanted to do it, how I wanted to do it, and then set goals and objectives. And then when I reach those goals and objectives, I say, okay, now what? And it might be, I might continue, or I might change my direction a little bit. And that's been my business model. And I said to you before we went live that I wouldn't recommend that model to anybody, but it's worked for me. It has worked for me, and that's all that's all that matters. Okay, let's get down to our discussion today. I want to talk about, I'm going to throw some things at you that I think are going to be major in 2016.
Okay.
You can add to the list, you can subtract to the list, but I want to throw some ideas at you. And if you would talk about if Steady Demand did that in 2015, and if Steady Demand is going to continue on doing that in 2016. That way, folks can get a feel for, what their case studies.
Sure.
That's what we're presenting today. Okay. Point number one, and I know you're going to agree with me on this one, and I want to hear your comments on it, but content marketing is what it's all about. And some folks think it's going to take a new look. Some folks think it's going to just expand of what it's been doing. What do you think about content marketing 2015, 2016?
Agree, disagree.
Okay. That's okay. That makes it fun when you agree, disagree.
Agree, disagree. So 2015, we actually took almost the entire year off from content marketing.
Really?
So if you think about it, so with at least our company, 2014 was all content marketing in the form of doing a lot of this, a lot of HOAs, doing a lot of content writing, doing a lot of content contribution, getting content out there. And for our business, it didn't produce a lot of inbound leads. The quality of the leads that were generated were such small businesses that they could not work together with us.
And you're talking about 2014 now.
14.
Okay.
Right. I'm moving forward. So,
no, that's okay, because you're smart enough to see that if it doesn't work, I got to make a change, and I got to do what's going to produce a return on investment for my company.
So 2015, we switched over from doing all the mainly video marketing, thought leadership, etc., to putting out a guide. Basically, we put out a guide. So that is content marketing, email marketing. Right? This is something that any business can do. That ended up also generating a lot of leads. We made the mistake of marketing that guide primarily in the Google Plus ecosystem.
Why did you make a mistake?
Well, it wasn't really a mistake. Okay, maybe mistake is not the right word. Faux pas. Because at that time, we were only in the business of growing Google Plus brand pages. The hardest business in the social media ecosystem. And we're darn good at it. I mean, we're the best at it. I can say that. But a lot of businesses that adopted in 2015 Google Plus were very, very small businesses. We're talking startup small businesses, 1 to 2 owner businesses. Businesses that if you were to say, sure, this is going to cost you $600 a month, and sorry, I can't nail down exactly what the ROI is going to be. And if I ask the question, okay, if you do this for 6 months and you see no tangible return, would you go out of business? And the answer comes back, yeah, I'd go out of business.
Ooh, that's a lot of pressure on you and to deliver.
Well, I mean, it's actually not. I asked that question a lot on purpose.
You have to ask that question. You
Right.
have to. It's a necessary question.
Because as a small business, if you can't spend that kind of capital to build your brand and to get brand equity, and you of course you'll get clicks, you'll get buzz, people will talk about you, etc. But if you can't convert that, and most small businesses can't,
Why?
their websites are not set up correctly.
Okay, there's a goal for 2016.
Right. Number two, most small businesses don't know how to handle incoming traffic in the first place.
So why do they get it? Why do they want it if they can't handle it?
Everybody wants it, but they don't know what to do with it once they have it. They don't know how to measure and convert. Right. Number three, most small businesses don't have their house in order. So they can't even take the business on because the business will help them collapse. And I'm talking about really, really small businesses.
Well, but so, you know what? And I had this discussion a month or two ago. Actually, I think it was with Stan Bush during Global Entrepreneurship Week, the second week in November. That's when it was. And he threw something at me, and we started to talk about it. And I was really, it really hit me, and I've embraced it in my marketing right now. That okay, the concept was entrepreneur. What is an entrepreneur? Mm-hmm. What do they do? Why do they do it? Da 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 da. And Stan said the question for 2016 is not, do you want to be an entrepreneur or are you a solopreneur? So we got off on that whole tangent.
There's a business. There's a lot you could say about that.
Well, the thing about it is there are millions of solopreneurs in this country. And that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. And I've been talking about this for years now that, okay, we've got this solopreneur kind of model. Right now, well, you've got a company going, but I have to assume you're in your home right now. Is that correct?
I have choice, but yeah.
Okay, so you're in your home. I'm in my home. That's kind of where solopreneurs do their thing in their homes. They don't need the overhead of rent because, office rent, they can do it in their home, in a spare room in their home. Okay, the key is solopreneurs finding other solopreneurs to work together, to collaborate.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay? And that, I started talking about that business model 4 years ago. 4 years ago, that because I saw it happening. Baby boomers who could not stop being in business or doing business for whatever the reason. They wanted to do it. They couldn't afford to stop. So they continued on with the whatever they were doing for the last 40 years, starting businesses. And there were a bunch of us, millions of us, who said, okay, we're going to find like people on Google Plus. We're going to find them there, solopreneurs, and we're going to say, okay, can we work together? Can we collaborate? Can you help me? Can I help you? And then can we then create an entity that goes out into the marketplace and works with other folks, other small businesses. And there's a lot of that activity going on right now.
Absolutely. But let me, not to get, well, actually to derail that for a moment.
Derail it if you want, man. I love derailment.
So I could just finish the answer to the question. It's a long-winded answer, I know. So in 2015, so we put out the ebook. We put an email marketing system out there. We did a little bit of blog content creation. But our primary audience, which was on G Plus, it was starting to kind of diminish a little bit more and more over time. And we also diversified our company as well. So we adapted, we changed, we added Twitter,
You know
we
what?
added Facebook.
Let's take a moment. Talk about steady demand. Because you're
Oh,
talking
sure.
about we, and you haven't really said. I know what you do, but you share with what it is you do and why you do it.
So starting back over, let's rewind the clock. 17 minutes ago. Hey, David, thank you for having me on here. David is an awesome guy. I've known David for about 2 years now, and he's the best small business expert I've ever met.
Oh my goodness! Can I quote you? Can I use that as an endorsement?
Yes, you can. Absolutely. So, so basically, okay, yeah. So steady demand. So we're a social media marketing company. I mean, that's really who we are at our core. We are content creators, and at the end of the day, what our company does is we help companies gain and increase their social reach and engagement. That's what we do. Very simple, very straightforward. We started out with Google Plus. It was the hardest network to work on. Of course, I've got this SEO knowledge going back to 1994, etc.
You're that old an SEO?
So there's kind of like a little semantic search going on as well. I mean, but
Uh-oh. Did you ask David Amerlin if you could use that expression?
But we use Google Plus for its intended means, put it that way. But but beyond that, I mean, really at our core, and this is what I want to encourage with anybody who has a small business, and that is to really refine and continually recreate what you do, who you are, what is your business. Because if you remember, David, when we met, I was a Google Plus business guy. That's what our business did, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's all we did. And we found out, over the past year and a half, that just didn't resonate with people. It did not resonate. And that's, simply because of Google's marketing efforts. So we've had to retool and rechange, and we're constantly, basically beyond improving our service and what we do, and we've really had to listen to the marketplace and understand what people need to hear to be able to take advantage of what we offer.
I want to put a little boom, 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 a little noise in there. That is the most important thing that a small business has to do. They have to listen to what the marketplace needs, not what you think they need. Because you can think what they need, but you know what? It might not be spot on. We have to listen to what it is the market needs. Then we deliver with our expertise, with our knowledge, to assist folks to move forward in their business based upon what they need. And you know what, Ben? I've been a small business owner for over 40 years, and I'm a good listener. I'm a good listener, and I've had so many people try to sell me things. They're selling me the solution before they actually know what it is that I need.
Right.
Exactly. And you've missed the boat. You've missed the boat.
Exactly. And so what we did in 2015, which was different. Now I'm getting off of your question.
That's okay, because we're small business guys that need to deal with what's going on.
It kind of actually no, it'll stay on tap. I mean, kind of, because it goes over to 2016. So in 2016, we're replicating a little bit of what we did in 2015, because we're creating a new ebook series, but it's all about how do you stop wasting your time on social media.
Whoa.
Okay.
Good
one. So, because it takes a lot of time, and if it's one thing a business needs to do is delegate, whether they delegate internally or they outsource. Of course, say demand, we are the outsource component to a business. From a small business to an enterprise business, it doesn't really matter, So, but anyway, there is a key thing there: time, content, expertise. Those are the three things that we solve. And this is what we learned in 2015 is that a majority of businesses, whether they're small or public, always suffer from time, the ability to create great content, and the expertise of multiple social platforms. And so what we did is we listened to the market, and how we did that was actually by doing what everybody hates: cold calling.
I'm going to take issue with you on cold calling. I hate the expression cold calling. Why would anybody
your market? Call to market.
Why would anybody want to do a cold call? You want to do a warm call.
It's not a cold call. What it is this. And this is what I learned in 2015, I think, because personally, I hate, you know this, we've talked about this, right? I personally can't stand calling somebody and interrupting their day. But now, instead, I have somebody who does it for me. But regardless of that, the fact that it is this, and this is the one thing I learned, and that is I am doing a huge disservice to a company if I feel like what we do meets their needs and I don't call them. If I don't call them, I'm doing something bad. That's actually a bad thing.
That's an interesting concept, because how many businesses do you think are in the marketplace and need your services? Millions.
Right. Exactly. So when I call up somebody, let's say it's a social media manager, right? Because of the research that we've done, through the last year, I already know for the fact that, let's say they're making $10 million a year gross company. Doesn't matter. There's probably one marketing director who has maybe one or two people assisting that person, right? The social media manager is already underwater because she or he is tasked with all of these other responsibilities. So what do? They go ahead and they put something out. They throw it into Hootsuite, Sprout Social, whatever. It goes to Twitter, it goes to Facebook, it goes to Google+, it goes to Instagram, it goes here. It's the same message all across all the platforms. It's 140 characters. It's beautiful.
No, it isn't.
No engagement. No engagement, and they all know it. They know they're doing it wrong. They have that pain point. They already know and are ashamed of the fact that they can't do their job. They're not going to say that. So when somebody like, say, Demand calls on them and says, look, we're going to help you. We're going to increase your engagement. We're going to make you look good. More importantly, we're going to have people start talking about you, and we're going to take over your brand voice, and we're going to be able to write content that your audience is going to love, and that's going to end up generating clicks, and hopefully it'll end up generating sales. That's your job. That's not our job. Our job is to expand your reach.
You know what? You're almost tempting me. I probably shouldn't. I probably shouldn't say this publicly, but I'm going to. I love to pick up a telephone and talk to somebody that I've never met before. That is one of my passions. I love doing it, and and it's a challenge to myself. And over the years, I have had folks that, okay, David, we want you to help us get leads. And I said, you know what? I don't want to research who your prospects ought to be. Give me a list of 10 people that you want to talk to, and I will get you engagement with those 10 people. It's that simple. And that's how I do it. I'm almost tempted to say I would love to do it and be challenged by Steady Demand in 2016 to do a little bit of that. We'll put that in the back a little bit. You're actually.
I'll get you in touch with Adam, and he will definitely put you up to that.
You're actually the second person in the last week that I have said that to. and you know the other person. I'm not going to mention the name. I have to protect the confidentiality.
Of course.
But I love, and it goes back to this whole thing, Ben. And you said it. You said it when we talked about a cold call. The word that you use, you've got to do your research. You've got to do your homework. You've got to attempt to understand what you think the pain point is. It may not be the pain point. It may not be, but you've got to throw it out there based upon your research, your understanding.
Like you said it right there. You have to listen.
Listen.
And, in our first year, we didn't listen. We just thought, oh, wow, we're awesome. We're great. We're dude. We can do this.
Which you could. There's no question about it.
And we did. So, but once we actually started really, really listening, and documenting, and actually like, okay, well, what questions are we getting asked over and over and over again? What pain points are being revealed during a casual conversation? And actually start thinking about it and writing it. And it's like, oh crap, our messaging is wrong. And it's like, wow, cool, that's awesome. Because that means that we can find the people businesses that really need what we can do, and can take advantage of what we do.
Did you just knock your camera a little bit? You went out of focus a little bit.
No. How am I
now? Well, let me stop talking and let you talk.
There we go. How's that? Better?
Yes.
Yay. Awesome. Focus.
Well, here's where I want to go with this, Ben.
Okay.
As you and I could talk about this stuff for a long time, what I'd like to do is throw a couple things at you. You say yay, nay, one sentence. We'll go through a series of things. Then I want to take this discussion on to Blab and see if there's some folks on Blab that will, throw questions at us, and we'll continue the discussion. I'm going to go down a list. In 2016, we'll all be authors. You better say yes.
I'm going to say nay, because being an author versus being a blog writer is a different thing.
Okay, that's good. Smarter systems will enhance the processes, the business processes, and will build relationships.
Say again.
Smarter systems, the key word being systems, will smooth the process, help the process, enhance the process, and subsequently will help to build the relationship.
Smarter processes are going to help build relationships. I'm sorry, smarter systems will help build relationships?
Yes. Ooh,
I'll give it a yay as long as it's not automated. We're probably talking more CRM, but if we're talking automation, then I say nay.
Automation does not build relationships. Automation just gets it out there.
Yeah.
You said something, and I think I heard you correctly. Did I hear you correctly that you are promoting your folks internally to pick up a telephone and engage folks? Did I hear that right, or did I?
Well, yeah, I have a VP of sales, and so he picks up the phone and engages people directly.
You know what?
I mean, as far as smarter systems, yes. I mean, you can build systems to build relationships. So, whether that's a Excel spreadsheet or it's a CRM, like, for instance, we use Nimble. Nimble is a great way to do sales and also build relationships at the same time.
I better write that down as a key word, Nimble. I don't know that system.
Oh, Nimble's awesome.
NIMBLE?
You got it.
Okay. I know another sales automated system at one time. I can't remember the name of the company. It's an Arizona company. You know who they are. It's a Phoenix company.
I don't know who they are.
Yes, you do know who they are. They came out to Phoenix and they did a thing for customers, and they're big. You know who they are. I can't think of their name right now.
That's okay. All right. Next one.
They're in Phoenix, Arizona, though. Okay. Here's a no-brainer. Finer targeting and higher engagement with smaller audiences.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
That's a no-brainer. Here's a good one. More content will be live. I think we're probably on the same page. It's live streaming. If you're not live streaming now, you better get it. You better understand it. And if you don't understand it, call Ben Fisher or call David Leopold, and we will get you into the live streaming world. Yes or no? Live. I'm seeing some hesitancy there.
No. I kind of have to say nay.
Ooh, you and I might have to have a 2016 ongoing debate about this.
Yeah, no, because your audience, David, which is the small business owner, does not have the time to do
good point.
Streaming.
Good point.
And you know what? The thing about live streaming is you can't outsource it.
You got to do it yourself.
You cannot outsource it. You have to do it yourself. So if you're going to live stream from your bed, awesome. If you're going to live stream while you're brushing your teeth, great. If you want to put a plan together which says every day at 12:05 in the afternoon, I'm going to be done eating my lunch and I'm going to do a 5-minute live stream, and its objective is to do Z.
Well, is there anything wrong with what you just said?
No, there's nothing wrong with that. But the thing is that we all know most businesses do not operate this way.
Well, they don't, but maybe they have to. Maybe
Correct.
they have to in 2016's world. I had to laugh, Ben, because I am physically in my bedroom right now. I am in my bedroom. So, yes,
my bedroom is about 500 feet that way. No,
500 feet. You must live in a big house.
No, okay, 100 feet. But anyway, but my point is that for most businesses, even mine included, I mean, I've got 13 people in my company. We're so busy on a day-to-day basis. The fact is live streaming is not going to get us a return. Live streaming works for people like Gary Vaynerchuk. Live streaming works for people who have a following, and what they do is they are authors, they are blog writers. They have a very specific goal, selling their training courses or selling their books. So live streaming works for them. Live streaming works for news, broadcasts, bloggers, gamers, etc. But when it comes down to it, you know, a hotel, okay, do they have time for live streaming? Do they really have the time? Does the management company that manages that location have time to tell the manager, you've got to go figure out Periscope? Go figure out Meerkat.
No, you raise a good point. You raise a very good point. Maybe they have to do the content themselves, because that's what their business is. That's what their business is all about. But maybe they need to outsource to steady demand to, set the process, set the system in place. Then they just feed into the content.
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely, and they wouldn't outsource to us, so we'd refer them to somebody else. But but absolutely, I mean, it's something that could be done. But I mean, will live streaming be big in 2016? Of course, it's going to be big. Is it going to be big for small to medium business? I don't think so.
Interesting, because
I think it'll be a lot of experimenting is going to happen.
Well, maybe you and I will do this discussion in 365 days. The same discussion. We will. I'm gonna put it down, and I'm gonna say, Ben, on the 28th, we're going to have a discussion and see if the things that we talked about today come to fruition in 2016. Okay.
So here we are. It's December 28th, 2016. Hey, David, good to see you again. We've been live streaming every day, and oh my God, it's been great. No.
I'm not going to live stream every day. Actually, I'm going to. Interesting point. What I plan to do in 2016 it's going to be online, and I'm going to be live when I do it, but it's going to be private live streaming. It's going to be private.
So
we're going to do a SmallBizDavid Academy of Entrepreneurship and Solopreneurship. And so instead of necessarily being public, it's going to be somebody, people will pay for it. They're going to pay a tuition, very, 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 very small tuition. It's just a commitment, but nonetheless, I'm going to make those sessions private as opposed to public. So
see, now that's a good reason to live stream.
Okay, there you go. We don't have time because I want to move on to blab, and I put out that we're going to blab at 1:30, and we're 5 minutes late already. Security. One comment about security for 2016.
Critical.
Okay, that's a good word. LinkedIn.
Life or death.
LinkedIn. Is LinkedIn going to work in 2016 to folks' satisfaction?
If you're dedicated to it.
There you go. Emphasis on dedication. Anything can work if you make it work, and to make it work, you have to be dedicated to make it work for you.
I'm just going to say one thing about social media, okay? And this will just kind of end, and that is engagement breeds engagement.
Ooh, that's a good quote. Can I quote you on that?
Sure.
Okay. Engagement breeds engagement. Interesting.
And the fact is that the more activity and the more dedication that you put into any given platform, I don't care what platform it is, it will create engagement. If you engage with others, you will create engagement. There's nothing wrong with that. It's great. It's awesome. It's all about what your objectives are, of course. But the fact is with the lack of engagement, in other words, you won't get engagement.
Good point.
So if you're broadcasting, you're not engaging. So you're going to get nothing.
Here's one that we can talk forever, but one comment, mobile and video. What can you say about mobile?
I have to say mobile and video?
Well, I think that's the natural tie between the two is because people are on the go, and they can, when they're moving, they can take a moment and look at something video on their mobile.
So I will say this, mobile and video, yes. So I had, and I'll back it up with a story real quick.
It's a case study. We need a story.
Real estate agent, a mid-market producer in Scottsdale, Arizona, uses video. And the way he uses video, excuse me, is he goes ahead and he makes his beautiful drone videos, etc., of homes, etc., right? Puts them up on YouTube. Natural engagement, 0. Puts about $100 behind it. Advertises it in-stream and out-stream. And anyway, you can see in AdWords, there's 2 ways to do it, in-stream, out-stream. Goes ahead. Once he does that, phone starts ringing off the hook. He gets phone calls. He gets leads, which is what the real estate industry is all about. They're all about leads, right? But he rings, and a lot of that does come from mobile. So yes, it works. But if you're just doing video for the sake of doing video without a call to action, no, worthless.
Wow, you shouldn't be doing any marketing if there's not a call to action.
You'd be surprised at how many do it without a call to action.
Well, they're wasting resources if there's no call to action. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Okay. Final thing.
Okay.
Webinars will get superpowers.
Say what?
Long gone are the days of text-laden PowerPoint decks. Combining powerful images, video, Snapchat, Google Hangouts, and other forms of engagement make webinars into one of the most valuable tools in the marketer's tool chest.
Oh, I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like right up there with email marketing. It's almost a no-brainer.
You said email marketing. We didn't really delve into it. I believe, and I'm going to try to do it in 2016, more email marketing, because I can target. And
your business will explode.
Oh my! I don't want it to explode. Then maybe I won't do it.
Your relationships with your customers, tribe, whatever you want to call them, will explode.
Oh, well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing, and that's how email marketing works the best.
Your
But
relationship
I
will
see,
increase.
I get a lot of emails, Ben, every day from the old traditional email marketers who have made millions of dollars doing what they did years ago. I'm not so sure they're making the same amount of money today that they did, but they're still doing it the same way. And I don't go beyond the subject line in 95% of the time. I don't go beyond the subject line.
Okay, well, how about that? I'll give you a stat here. 72% of the time, you will open my subject.
No, 100%. I'll give you a stat. 100%. No, I'm not being facetious, and I'm not trying. I'm not blowing smoke. If Ben sends it out, I'm going to open it. I can tell you that right now. Well, why? Why? Because we have discussions.
We have a relationship.
I know what's on your mind, and okay, what's Ben thinking about today? I know that if I open up an email from Ben Fisher, I'm going to get some good information. What a summary statement to our discussion today. Okay, let's close this down, and you know how to get on to Blab. Let's take this discussion to Blab and see what happens.
All right, cool. Sounds good.
See you soon.
See you over there.
Bye-bye.
Bye.